There is something about the myth of San Francisco that pulls people to it. The Golden Gate Bridge, the fog, the freedom of the West, the pull of the Pacific Ocean, the promise that you are free to love and be loved by anyone here. The history of the Beat Generation and Asian American activism was what pulled me here. For others, it's the ocean or the counterculture movement, the need to change and tip power over to those who have less, to fight the status quo. It sounds idyllic and mesmerizing, doesn't it? Well, 13 years in San Francisco, 2 years back to the East Coast, and then another 5 years back in San Francisco because we really couldn't stand the winters even though we grew up on the East Coast. We chose not to live like that. The San Francisco I love is no more. And maybe when I showed up in 2001, maybe the city was already on the fast track into changing into another gold rush town, and I shouldn't have been so surprised. It was a city that popped up to help house and booze gold rush gamblers and hopefuls, ephemeral and speculative. Maybe San Francisco is always going to be that kind of place. Just now, instead of panning for gold, it's people panning for high-tech power. Either way, there isn't a place for me here now. In the past year or so, many of my favorite places have closed down. Some storefronts remain empty for years. Others get replaced by more upscale, trendy places that last 3 months and then go. My neighborhood of expat, Russian, Irish, Asian, and immigrant families is slowly being replaced with young tech workers from all over, some not even really liking San Francisco. They're just here for the job and the money, which they quickly find out doesn't cover much, even though it sounds like so much more. I love this city, and I guess that's why I can also hate it so much too. The parts of it that promise opportunity are being eaten by the very hunger to innovate that it cultivates. It's the paradox of the beautiful ocean and bay that is so often hugged and smothered by the fog. I have seen so many bright people of color be pushed out of their homes and jobs because of these rising costs. And the cost, if too high for us now, it's going to get worse later. So we're one of the last of our friends who still remain in San Francisco. And as we leave, the number further dwindles. But there are awesome parts to this city. The city knows how to eat. I mean, the food here is legendary. As I travel the world, I am always happy to come back to the US because I have so many options of amazing foods from around the world. The diversity of food here is one of the most brilliant things about being American. I have never had a problem with choice in San Francisco. Whatever you want, you can find here. You have to pay a pretty penny sometimes, but it's here. Every meal can be a different kind of cuisine. Whatever dietary restrictions you have, you can find something delicious. The city has also been a home. You get to know people, to create communities around what you love to do or where you work. My own adult identity was carved out in this city. I had to travel 3,000 miles across the country to find the space to figure out who I want to be. I could do this with enough anonymity to explore and take risks, push myself out of what I thought I wanted to find out about who I really needed to be and wanted to be, and to be really comfortable with myself. But it's time for something new. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to let San Francisco go and embrace new challenges and changes. So, that being said, we're packing and moving down to LA. Now, I know what everyone says about LA, at least what San Franciscans say about LA, but San Francisco has changed a lot too. Maybe with more sun and less fog, maybe I'll be able to see more carefully and clearly into my future. It's a hopeful outlook despite the chaos of transitions that I know is coming because I hate packing and moving, but I'm choosing it, so it's okay. So goodbye, San Francisco. Goodbye, Carl the Fog. Goodbye, the smell of eucalyptus trees. Goodbye, Land's End and the ocean. And goodbye, Geary. which we lived on for so many years. Welcome to LA.